BigM method. BigM method, which is one of the linear optimization method. So in previous lectures we already discussed about the simplex method. So simplex method is also one of the linear optimization method. So first of all, we discussed the what type of problem we should solve by using the BigM method. Suppose we have one objective function, that is the maximized z, is equal to ax1 plus bx2. Suppose this is the function of profit or income, and we have to maximize this particular objective. So generally it having the two variables like x1 and x2, and a and b are constant. So our aim is to maximize our profit. But whenever we go through the objective optimization or a linear optimization, the objective have some constraint. So these constraints are maybe the in real life like a main machine or material constraint, or we transform this constraint into the equation form. Constraint are like this, like x1 plus x2 is less than or equal to 10. Oh, this is the first constraint. Second constraint is x1 minus x2 is greater than or equal to 5. And third constraint is x1 plus twice x2 is equal to 15. So we have three inequalities, like less than or equal to, greater than equal to, and equal to. Okay, but whenever we go for the linear optimization, there is a basic assumption that our basic variable should be non-negative. That means it must have the value greater than 0. Okay, first of all, whenever we go for the solution of this particular linear optimization problem by the BigM method, we have to convert this our basic problem into the standard form. So while converting this problem into the standard form, first of all we discuss how to convert this constraint into the standard form. So first of all we have to convert this inequality signs into the equality sign. So whenever we see the first constraint x1 plus x2 is less than or equal to 10, we have less than or equal to sign. That means whenever we adding something in the left hand side, that is the x1 plus x2, and we add some value in this way, then it becomes equal to 10. Suppose this certain value is s1, or we call it as a surplus variable. Okay, so we are adding the one variable in this case to convert this inequality into equality sign. So our constraint become x1 plus x2 plus s1 is equal to 10. Now second constraint, whenever we have the greater than or equal to sign, then we have to subtract something from this left hand side, then it becomes equal to the 5, or it become equal to the right hand side. So suppose we have second variable, that is the s2, which is subtract this left hand side, that is the x1 minus x2 minus s2, okay, is equal to 5. Now I will discuss why I added here a1. Okay, whenever I already told you that our basic variable should be non-negative. So whenever I put the x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, s2 is equal becomes minus 5. So this is violating our basic assumption. So adding some variable, extra variable in this case, or in the case of slack variable, so s2 is called as a slack variable and s1 is called as a surplus variable. Okay, in case of slack variable, I adding the a1 as the artificial variable. So why adding the artificial variable? Because s2 should be non-negative. So for that particular satisfy condition, we adding the a1 into this particular equation. Now see the third equation, that is x1 plus twice x2 15. So in this case it is equality sign, so we are just only adding the artificial coefficient. In this case we will see the details while solving the example. Now how this variable, how this were variables we added in the constant equation, how to accompany into the objective function, let's see. So first of all, summary till now is the when we have less than or equal to sign, we adding the plus s1, that is we call as the surplus variable. When we have greater than or equal to sign, we are adding minus s1, or we call it as the slack variable, and a1 as an artificial variable. And when we have equal to sign, we are adding the artificial variable, that is the a2. Okay, now when we consider these variables into the objective function, so if our objective function is a max of maximization, then we are adding the this slack variables and surplus variable, that is s1 and s2, by the zero coefficient, and whenever we have to add the artificial coefficient, then we multiply this artificial coefficient by minus m or plus m, and we are adding into the objective function. When we solving the example, we will see in details. So this m is nothing but the big value, that is the maybe the big negative value or big positive value. So generally we call it as a big M method. Okay, so let us see the objective function, that is a z is equal to ax1 plus bx2. We are adding the slack variable plus 0 s1, it having the 0 coefficient. After that we are adding the 0 s2, that is the second slack variable. This is the surplus variable, this is the slack variable. After that, as this is the problem of maximization, we multiply the minus m by the artificial variable, and we are subtracting, or we are adding, or we are subtracting from the objective function. As we are multiplied by the minus m, so it becomes minus m a1, and after that minus m a2. So this is the standard form of our objective function. So this is the objective function, and these are the some constraint which are we are discussed. Now we will see how to convert this. We have one objective function, that is z max is equal to twice x1 plus thrice x2, and these are subjected to two constraints, like x1 plus twice x2 is less than or equal to 2, and second constraint is 6x1 plus 4x2 is greater than or equal to 24. Okay, now we have to solve this example by the big M method, or we have to optimize this z max value for the maximization. Now first of all, we convert into this standard form. So consider the constraint. So first of all, first constraint is x1 plus twice x2. Okay, and this sign is less than or equal to. Okay, so whenever we have to convert this into the equality sign, we have to add something value in this particular case. So we are adding the s1 as a surplus variable, then it becomes twice. Okay, now whenever we consider the second constraint, that is the 6x1 plus 4x2. Okay, now we have the greater than or equal to sign, so we are subtracting something, that is the slack variable, but we already discussed the non-negativity constraint, so we are adding some more artificial coefficient here, artificial variable a1 as here, so it becomes is equal to 24. Okay, so this is the how we are converted this constraint into the standard form. Twice x1 plus thrice x2, plus we are adding the slack, first of all surplus variable as a 0 s1, plus we are adding the slack variable as a 0 s2, and this problem is the maximization. Then we are multiplying this artificial variable by the m minus m into a1. Okay, so this is our standard z max function. Okay, we call it as a zj. So coefficient of this z variable, that is x1, x2, s1, s2 and a1, we call it as a these are the basic variable, and coefficient we call it as a zj values. Okay, now first of all, when we solving this particular problem by using the simplex method, we are first of all write down the simplex table. So this value is the, we write down here zj values. Okay, after that, this is the coefficient of basic variables, these are the basic variables. After that, xb is the constraint equality values, like 2 or 24. Okay, after that, this is x1, this is x2. After that, we write down the s1. After that, we write down the a1. Okay, these are some 4 basic variables. Why we are not considering here s2? Because we are adding as a1 for the non-negativity constraint, so we will directly consider a1 in this case. Okay, now in this case we have two basic variables like s1 and a1, and it having the coefficient as when we consider the zj equation, the coefficient of the x1 is 2, after that x2 having the coefficient 3, after that s1 having the coefficient 0, and a1 having the coefficient minus n. Okay, so we write down here the coefficient as the S1 having the 0 coefficient and A1 having the minus m coefficient. After that we write down the xb value here. So what are the xb value? That is the 2 and 24. So this value, the RHS value or right hand side values of a constraint is nothing but the xb values. Now we fill the table in the matrix form. So first of all, first constraint we have value of x1 is 1. After that 2, x2 having the value coefficient of 2. After that s1 having the coefficient 1. After that, in this case, the coefficient of a1 is the 0. Okay, after that, when we consider the second constraint, we have the x1 having the values coefficient as 6. After that, x2 having the coefficient 4. After that, we will consider here s1 s2 also. So first of all, we consider here s2 also. So I just make a correction, small correction. S2, we only consider the basic variable in this column, and we in this particular row we will consider all the basic variables. So this is A1. Okay, sorry for the mistake. Now this is minus m. Okay, so in this case it becomes 0. After that, when we write down the second row, second constraint, we have the coefficient as 6, 4. After that, S1 having 0 coefficient in the second constraint, it having the minus 1 and it having the 1. Okay. Now after the writing this particular matrix form, we have to find out the Zj minus Cj value. Okay, Cj minus Zj value. So first of all, we make one extra row here. Okay, so till now you will understand this. Okay, so we write down here Cj minus Zj values. Okay, so now first of all, what is Cj? Cj is the summation of Cb. Cj is the summation of Cb into xj. Okay, now first of all we discuss what is the Cb and what is xj, and minus zj is nothing but these particular values. So when we consider Cb, that is 0 into 1, okay, for the first column. After that, plus minus m into 6, and that is the summation of Cb into xj. Minus, when we divide, subtract it from the 2, we get the value as, so 1 into 0 becomes 0, and minus 6 into minus m becomes minus 6m. So this Cj minus Zj for the first column becomes that is minus 6m minus 2. Now for the second column, we have the value here as for the x2 constraint variable, that is a 2. So 2 into 0 becomes 0, and after that minus, it becomes 0, and after that 4 into minus m becomes minus 4m. So for the second column it becomes minus 4m minus 3. This is the for the second column. Now when we consider for the third column, so I write down here, so this is for the third column. So it becomes 1 into 0, 0, and 0 into minus m, it becomes 0. So overall value is 0. For the fourth column, or for the S2 variable, when we write down here 0 into 0, it becomes 0, and when we multiply by 1 minus 1 into m, it becomes m. So m minus 0 becomes m. Okay, after that for the last A1 column, when we write down 0 into 0, it becomes 0, plus 1 into minus m, it is minus m. So minus m minus Zj is a minus m. So minus minus become plus. So final value becomes 0. So this is how we write down the Cj minus Zj value. Now next step is for the maximization problem. We have to select the most negative value for the finding the key column. So in this case, most negative value, how we calculate the most negative value? So when we I put here 1, okay, instead of m I put here 1, so or any positive number, then I get the value as the minus 6 minus 2 is a minus 8, and after that when I put here 1, minus 4 into minus 3, I get minus 7. So most negative value is as it is first column, or it is x1 column. Okay, so our key column, we can call it as a key column. Okay, so this is key column. Now we have to write down the minimum ratio. So this is the column for the minimum ratio. What is minimum ratio? Minimum ratio is nothing but the xp divided by key column. Okay, so we already get the key column. We already know the xb value. So xb is the 2. So we get the 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. Now after that we have the 24 value. So 24 divided by 6 as the key column value, we get the 4. Okay, so as this column name suggested, it is the minimum ratio. So we have to select this minimum ratio, that is the 2, and we get the key row. So basic of our finding the key column and key row we get completed. So this is the key row and this is the key column. So we get the key element as the intersection of a key column and key row is the 1. So we have the key element is the 1. Okay, so this is the first iteration. So in this case, if we find we get all the values are positive or 0, then we stop for the maximization problem. But in this, okay, so this is the first iteration. Now we will go for the second iteration. As we don't get all the values as negative or 0, so we go for the next iteration. So next iteration is, suppose we have to write down zj values. So zj, so we have to replicate the same table here. So this is the coefficient of basic variable, this is the basic variable, and this is the xb. Now from the last iteration we have from the last iteration we get the clear idea is that we have entering vector as a x1 and we have leaving vector as the s1. Okay, so our s1 variable will leave the solution and x1 will enter into the solution vector. Okay, so as we have the key column as the x1 and we have the key row as the s1. Okay, now similarly we will find out the simplex table as we discussed in the last example, and we will solve the numerical. So this is all about the big M method. I will again explore into the further videos.